everyone. Welcome to Global Dream Makers, The Leader's Edge. My name is Baylan Megino, and I am the host of The Leader's Edge. And today I am absolutely honored to kick off our Disruptors series with the woman who made it all possible, Renee Reisch. Hello, Renee. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, Baylan. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm grateful to be here.
Oh, the I'm so glad that you were able to make it and to make that whole thing happen. But before we get into it, let me read your bio. Let people know all about you. Okay?
All right.
So Renee Reich has cultivated and inspired individuals and teams for over a decade. After over 25 years working in corporate America, Renee decided it was time to hang up the corporate ladder. She started her professional training and speaking as an instructor at Women Helping Women, a nonprofit organization where she donated her time helping the unemployed and underemployed find and keep their jobs. She's received numerous awards over the years for bringing her teams to the number one position. Both her years and experience in the corporate world have taught her that in order to move the bar and increase profit, you must first invest in people. After suffering a devastating illness that took away her voice, then a few years later the loss of her best friend and then father, Renee decided to follow their example to never give up. Now that legacy is how Renee has chosen to live her life and help others, showing them that just when they feel life is closing in on them, there's always a way out. So today, Renee is a 4 times number one best-selling author, speaker, a transformational mindset coach, and creator of the Voice Blueprint. She works with those suffocating in silence to find their true voice so they can express themselves with confidence and go from surviving to thriving. I am so honored to have you here to start this Disruptor series. Let me tell people a little bit about that. Um, we, I've known Renee for, I don't know, Renee, a little less than a year. I've known you a little less than a year. And in that time, she has organized so many different things. But the one that we're here for is that she was contacted by Gary Doherty over in Ireland, who has a PR company, and he contacted her and they were talking and decided, you know what, there are a group of people within her group, her Facebook group, there are people that are disrupting. They're disrupting with the work that they're doing. And so they opened it up and said, who would like to be part of an article? And so an article actually was published, and I can put the link into the description. It was published in Disrupt magazine in September, and there were 6 of us who were chosen for the work that we're doing in the world. And I know there is a bigger vision for this, and I know that your work has huge vision, and that's what I want to talk about. But before we get to that, why don't you let the audience know a little bit about about your journey and how you came to really do this work now.
Thank you so much, Baylan. It is a journey indeed. I got this pillow several years ago, and it says "Joy is in the journey." When I bought that pillow, I had no idea what was truly ahead, and it is a journey. And mine started when I was, well, it probably started when I was a young girl in school and I was being bullied and I never spoke up about it. And then it happened when I was in sales and people would take my sales from me when it was a commissioned environment. And then I became a manager and I was responsible for multi-million dollar teams, and I led them, as you said in the bio, to the number one position in the district, the region, the company, and ultimately in the country. And during that time, taking care of all these different people, I never took care of me. And in 2013, I lost my voice to a very painful illness called viral pharyngitis. So what that was sores all over my vocal cords. and I was in the ER twice, and I literally had no voice, and doctors didn't know if it was going to be permanent damage and I would never be able to speak again. So obviously I do have a voice and I'm speaking, and it took quite a while to come back out of that dark space because I fell into a deep depression. I was isolated from the public and told I was not allowed to be with them because I was so contagious at that time. So, when you go through those kind of things, those dark moments in life, and you come through them, I said, when we're brought to it and through it, there's a reason. And it was far greater than me. And it was to come out of it with a stronger voice, a more confident voice, and with more courage as well, to be a disruptor, to disrupt the norm of what other people are doing, so they can not only be, but become the better and best version of who they are and use their voice authentically.
Oh, that's such a gift to the world. I mean, I am sorry that you had to go through that. And, it's a blessing that you've been able to take that difficulty and turn it into something positive that is a gift to the world. That you are that channel that people are able to access so that they can find their voice. I mean, I wish I'd known about you years ago. I mean, I had to go through a marriage to find my voice. It was pretty difficult. Um, but yeah, we find the way, don't we? We find a way to get through that period of being invisible and not being heard.
So true. So true. And I wish I would have known you as well then. Also, we spoke about my book, and I'm going to hold it up for a moment. It's Finding Your Voice, Unlock Your Chains, and Unleash Your Greatness. And truly, it is our own chains that we get bound up. And I can speak personally in my journey. It was my own chains. And yet it's also my greatness as well as yours and everybody listening to this podcast, because we have it within us. And sometimes we need people around us to help show us and shine that light that was already there. And it was always there. But when you go through things in life that dim your light, you have to get that charge again to shine it. And I'm here to help people do exactly that.
I mean, really, that's one point, and it's the most important and pivotal point. It's like when your life gets disrupted, how do you respond, right? How do you get past that moment of, oh my gosh, what is happening? This is disrupting my entire life, right? So
Well,
how do you help your people get beyond that?
Well, I'm going to say before I say that piece of it, it's what happened in my own life. And that's having my best friend who is now watching over me from heaven. And when you have people in your life that really sometimes know you better than you know yourself, that can be there for you. And again, I was so contagious, she couldn't really spend time with me. She would come up my stairs with one of those masks on that, have to have so you don't get contagious or you don't get anybody else sick. And I never knew when she was coming, but she was always there because she always knew I'd be home since I wasn't allowed out. When you have people like that in your life who kind of disrupt where you're at and say, listen, you could do this. And they don't say those words, but by their presence, they believe in you. They show you through their actions that they believe in you. And they don't give up on you. You start to not give up on yourself because you have the right people with you, because you're surrounded by the support system that you need, that you didn't even know you needed until they showed up. Something I say all the time is when you show up to life, life shows up for you. And that's also the right people showing up in your life along your journey.
Well, yeah. Wow. There's you're speaking to my journey. You're speaking to my journey. Because you, you come to a point when, and this is what I help people with also, you come to a point where you have to just trust. You have to just trust. And, it's that stepping out at the edge of the cliff, not knowing if the ground will rise to meet you or if you'll suddenly sprout wings, but you just know you need to step off, right? Don't know where it's going to lead you. You have to trust. And that is the scariest place, and that's really a place where like the throat can just go what am I going to
Exactly.
say? What am I going to say other than scream if I can even try to get that out, right?
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
It,
So getting people beyond that point so that they can, as you said, trust themselves and not give up on themselves. I think that's where a lot of people have difficulty because they don't have, or they don't think they have access to support.
true.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. And I think that's the biggest piece because that's what I teach in the course that I, work on with people. It's the voice blueprint that you also spoke about in my bio. And that's taking people from vulnerability to empowerment along the journey of finding their voice. And it's difficult for people to reach out. It's not always easy because then they have to look inside and say, I need help. And that is the first step to overcoming anything in life is saying, and doesn't mean you're helpless. I'm going to say something really powerful. That shows the greatest strength when you can step out and say, I need your support. It does not show weakness, it shows greater strength. I need support along my journey. Can you be there to support me? And then connect with them and let them know that you can be there. We all have our strengths, our superpowers, and we also have our opportunities. What I have people do is to maximize their strengths by using their opportunities to support that. And I'm there right with them to help them along the journey of finding their voice from vulnerability to empowerment.
So important. And, especially for our leaders, the way that the communication has been up until now has been very, and this is a huge generalization, right? But has been the way of communication that has been rewarded or has been approved has been very aggressive. And we now are learning different ways to be inclusive, to be collaborative, to be assertive, not aggressive, right?
Right.
To be part of a team, part of a circle, as opposed to being the one in front that everybody is following, right? To be,
Absolutely. It's about community. And in community, we find unity.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So our leaders, once they um, perhaps become aware that there's a different way that they can communicate within their leadership and with their leadership, coming from their leadership. Um, what can you share with them? Because I see that when that happens, when that awareness occurs, that there's such a responsibility. You know, it's a complete responsibility because all of a sudden you understand what a global dream maker is. You understand the power of words and the thoughts behind them, right? So communicating, bringing to voice the words that create your world, so powerful, so powerful. It, they build your relationships or they break them down. Just as simple as that.
Absolutely, Violet. I agree with that 100%. Our words do create worlds, and it's not just saying them, but acting upon them and bringing the leaders together. Because just because somebody may be a leader, it doesn't mean that they know it all. They're a leader in their niche, they're a leader in their industry. And there's things that when you mastermind, you come together and you bring leaders together to put out ideas and thoughts and then taking inspired action upon those. And that's where you see the biggest change. And you want to be a disruptor, you want to be a change agent, because that's where you will see greatness occur. And that's in using the best instrument I've ever played in the world, and that's my own voice, and sharing it with others and inspiring others to stand up, speak up, and use theirs.
Ah, yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, Yvonne, um, I was talking to my friend Yvonne earlier today. She's a venture capitalist and on the planetary committee. I mean, she does all kinds of really interesting things. And really talking about, we have to be aware of the people that we're talking to and their needs. That
Absolutely.
we can't go into places anymore and impose our way. That we have something that we know as leaders, even within organizations, we have something that we know that we can teach others, yet we can learn from them.
100%. It's interesting that you say that, because I was just speaking with a client this morning, and I said, we need to meet people where they are at, not where we want them to be. That's in the journey of helping them find their voice. But you need to meet people where they're at. And that's an integral part of anything in life, whether you're in a relationship, whether it's a relationship at work that you're, with your peers, whether in a marriage or anything, a family. Meet people where they are, and then you will have a better relationship with them.
Or even with your clients and your vendors, your suppliers. It's
Everybody.
negotiating all the time, right? And to be able to create that trust with your word, with what you say, to be able to have true conversation and an agreement. Yeah, it's so important that we come to the table with a clear voice. Mm.
I love that. And you do need to come to the table with a clear voice, because you need to understand what you're presenting before you present it. The clear voice will give you that confidence to speak what you really want to say instead of being all over the place. Come with it. Come to that table with the courage, with the confidence, with the conviction of what you're going to say, and speak on a level. And doesn't mean that you're better or worse or like a different level, but I mean the level where the people, your audience, where they are at, so they can come to that space where you need them to be and where you want them to be. When you're speaking to the audience, you always want to meet people where they're at, not where you are.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. The ego has to step aside.
All the time. It's not, because you know what? Because it's not about us at all. We are the vessel and the voice communicating, but it's getting to that place of understanding of what is needed to take action upon, and where we can come together and collaborate, and the process of where we're going to go to get the action that we want, and to get the results that we need to achieve.
Mhm. So going forward, Renee, going forward, what is the area or the people like to say, what's the problem you're going to solve, right? Or that you help people solve for themselves, right? What is that area that you're going to focus on in your work that you're disrupting in?
Well, what I'm currently doing is exactly that, is helping people and finding their voice. So the problem solving is those are not feeling confident to speak what they really want, the suppressed voices. And that's what took away my own voice. Our work in the world for many people is the thing we had the greatest challenge with, is the thing that I have created the whole process for. That is the voice blueprint that is in the book, in finding your voice, to unlock their chains, to unleash their greatness from within. Because that is a problem. I don't like the word problem. I like the word opportunity, because problem is like, oh no, there's a problem. Opportunity is like you get to do things.
Mm-hmm.
A problem is like, oh no, I might have to do something different. But when you get to do life, you get to be a change agent, you get to make a better impact upon the world, that's something you're excited to do rather than something that you feel you have to do.
Hmm. So I can imagine that the work that you do would be of interest to organizations and companies that have people, I'm going to say people, but I would think it would be mostly women, who they're bringing up through the ranks, right? Who need to be able to develop their voice and their communication capacity and capability, and their oh, team building, their team building skills, yes.
Absolutely, 100%, because it is about that. And you need to be able to find that strength within. If you're a leader in an organization, then you need to have a strong voice. You can't be wishy-washy or jumping from one thing to the next. You need to be really focused on what you're doing and be confident in how you're speaking to your teams.
Mm-hmm.
You can continue, because leaders grow leaders. You can continue to rise up through the ranks and continue to take people along the way as you rise. A rising ship, like rising tide lifts all ships.
Yes.
That quote I'm trying to remember.
That's it.
So there's that, and you want to be able to do that. As you rise, you're bringing people up with you through the ranks, and you're creating more leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And they must be confident in what they're doing and saying and speaking and how they're speaking and how are they communicating to their employees if they're in a corporation. But first and foremost is how are they communicating to themselves? What words are they speaking to themselves? If they don't have the confidence within themselves, how can they speak confidently to the people that are with them?
And also it's communication both ways. It's also communication with the people above you.
100%. 100%. You need to be able to speak to the opportunities that you're finding along your journey in your position. What are the things, what are the challenges that you're coming up against, or what things that you feel you can impart, your words of wisdom upon upper management and say, this is what I'm finding as I'm doing this, as I'm in this phase, or what I'm communicating isn't coming across clearly. I have a suggestion. And it's the way you say something is the way it's received and perceived. So you always want to be conscious of the words you're using and how you're saying things.
Well, it's interesting because, when I bring the Dream Maker Matrix out to people, to individuals, and then, many of them are entrepreneurs or they're leaders in their organizations, they get really clear on what their dream is for their life. We can then bring it into their company so that their employees, their co-workers can have that same level of clarity for their individual life, and then we can work on them as a team, and having this ability to clearly communicate what you want, what you see, what you need, what you think needs changed, right? With confidence, right? With confidence and trusting that you'll be met with hopefully a similar level of clarity. That's how we're changing whole companies and organizations, and therefore people's lives. Wow,
It
that's
is about,
exciting.
yes, it is, and I come from corporate from over 30 years, probably 25 with one company, but over 30 years in the corporate world. And we held many team building exercises. And it is in the team building exercises, one of them is trusting the team members, trusting that, you're going to be met where you need to be met, and entrusting yourself within that team, and trusting the people on that team. Without trust, it's all about trust, and building the team is building that confidence and the courage and the confidence within themselves, and to have the confidence within each other and the trust within each other.
Mm-hmm. We have our work built. We've got our work cut out for us. It's out there, and there's so much of it to do. I'm really glad that you're pursuing the avenues that you are. I am Excited to hear about your new platforms or whatever your new endeavors are and all of your programs. And how do people find out more about you and what you're doing, Renee?
Absolutely, Baylan. You can go to my link tree. First and foremost, I have everything in my link tree. We'll put it in the notes, I am sure. I am on social media, on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn. Please put that you saw me and heard me on this podcast so I know where you're from. And I would love to connect. I also offer 30-minute complimentary coaching consultations. So there's that. I have some free downloads on my link tree as well. And my book is there. I have also the audio of my book for those that like to receive information auditorily. That was released about 6 weeks ago, where I did my own voice for the book. And that was a big gift. People used to say, when are you going to do your audio book and who's going to do your voiceover? And I'm like, it's called Finding Your Voice. I'm doing the audio. So I have that. It's on Kindle, and it's out there. It's out there.
Yeah, and
So
you've got your
definitely.
programs. And you've
And
got programs.
I've got my programs. Yes, my voice blueprint program. So reach out and connect with me. There's so much that I'm doing, and I really love to connect with people in this world and help you along the journey of finding your voice. So please reach out and let's share our voices together.
All right. All right. The world is a better place because of this work that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us, Renee, and for kicking off the Disruptor series. I'm excited. Thank you for creating that, making that possible, and gathering a powerful group of people. I'm really excited to talk to them about their work. Yeah.
One thing I want to add, Baylan, and I know you know about this, I also do a workshop series that's very interactive. So please reach out to me and I can share about any of the above that I mentioned. And I would love to be able to share those with you, because it is something I felt called to do. And I see from the people who are showing up how impactful it is. So I'm grateful to be able to do this and offer it to people now.
Yes, yes. All right. Well, thank you again. My name is Baylan Megino. I've been here with Renee Reisch, who can be reached at reneereisch.com. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. And looking forward to our next episode. Our next episode. So go to globaldreammakers.com to find out more about all the different things that we're doing, our workshops, our summits, the podcasts. And then if you want to find out some working with me, we can do that too. So looking forward to it. Thank you everyone for joining us. Have a wonderful day.